Welcome to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamena. Joining me today is Mayor Jack Balch from the city of Pleasanton. Welcome to this edition. You always have such wonderful things. I wonder if we can start out with Mayor's Choice.
Yeah, thank you for having me as always. It's always a pleasure to be here. Mayor's Choice is a little hodgepodge. I'm going to catch up on a few things. The first I just wanted to mention, we had Xiao Pei Chinese Dance, the 2026 showcase that occurred at the Dublin City Center of Performing Arts on April 4th. And I just wanted to highlight this because they are now performing in the Chinese New Year. They performed at the Chase Center, and they're from our Tri-Valley. And although based in Dublin, just a special place for myself and just beautiful dance. I just wanted to highlight that. The second thing I wanted to highlight, since it's our first time seeing each other, is we just had our State of the City of Pleasanton. I want to let people know that you can watch the State of the City on the City of Pleasanton's website. But two things from that I think are important for our viewers. The first, which I have 3 copies here, is that Pleasanton has announced the Pleasanton Playbook. And this is a simple, pretty easy, simple steps of how to get a permit in the City of Pleasanton and what is needed. Because one of the things that we've heard from many of our businesses is that it's not a familiar thing for them to get a permit, that they're not really familiar with the process, and so they didn't really know what to expect in the process. And so by doing this, we've laid out the steps you go through for a simple permit. I mean, more complex ones obviously will diverge, but for a significant majority of our permits, it will follow these processes. And by doing that, you may have recalled, Dr. Kamena, we implemented some streamlining in December of 2025. And so this incorporates that streamlined permitting process that many of our residents, I think, will like. The other thing I wanted to highlight from the State of the City is that PG&E has implemented or completed 5 of the 6 capital improvement programs to increase energy reliability on our west side of our community, which has had significant challenges, principally in last summer of the hot August 2025. They were out for weeks. People were having food spoilage because of it. And we are bird dogging the last project. Hopefully that will be done by this September. But I just highlighted that in the State of the City. And then I did a thing called This I Believe, and if you want to read it or watch it, it's on the city's website. Lastly, for Mayor's Choice, or maybe a few more things, Main Street is getting some upgrades, and I wanted to highlight. If you haven't been down to our Main Street, Pleasanton, downtown Pleasanton, the trees are going in. They look beautiful. I think I mentioned it the last time. I think there's 5 varieties. I'm still staying with 5 varieties that we're planning to see which ones take well in them. All of them are supposed to do well, but which ones we like better. But also the heaving of the sidewalk so that the sidewalk is flat. And for those who might have accessibility issues, it was really critical in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone's, that when you're addressing the sidewalk heaving from the trees that were there before, you better fix it before you just plant the new trees. So I kind of feel like it's a job done right. Government does know how to do the job right, and this is a good thing. So it's coming in. The other thing with downtown is, you may have seen, we had some Easter decorations up during the Easter holidays. Christensen's window got painted with Easter decorations. The Prim business that's next to Inklings has our new wallpaper that we're putting in that touts the history of Pleasanton for vacant storefronts. And we're just really trying to make sure people can still feel safe, even though we do have some vacancy that we're trying to make sure we target. And then lastly, a couple of other things to round out. The summer concert series for Concert in the Parks is starting to shape up. America's 250th birthday. I know the Tri-Valley will be celebrating. There will be fireworks at our Alameda County Fair on the 4th of July, which is kind of a nice return from when I was a kid. It would always be the day we'd go. So I just wanted to highlight that. And then maybe last but not least, I wore a tie at the last taping for you, Dr. Kamena, and you weren't here. So Splens Bedorio enjoyed a tie, but we are here with this. So just wanted to round out a few things and a little jest at the end.
Yes, I'm very humbled. This next item I want to talk about made me think that it's called PTSD, but it's not the case.
No, it's slightly different acronym.
Right, it's the Pleasanton Transportation Safety Action Plan.
Yeah.
Now, you recently had already your second community meeting. What's the objective and how can people find out more about it?
Yeah, so there's a lot of dollars potentially out there for safety improvements and pedestrian bike focused. I just want to kind of highlight that. Less for automobile improvements like roadways, but definitely for bike ped and safety overall. There's federal and state dollars available. So the city is basically launching or in the middle of a Pleasanton Transportation Safety Action Plan. Comprehensive, I'm reading some notes here so I don't get it wrong. Data-driven process focused on safety across the city's transportation network. It'll combine technical analysis, community input, and it will kind of allow us to understand, collision trends, where to prioritize areas for improvement, and potentially grant dollars, right? So they told me the process includes data collection, collision analysis, and then identifying the high-need streets, intersections, and evaluating safety measures that can be implemented. So the final plan is working through, and if people would like to get involved, they can go to pleasantontransportationsafety.com. That is one word, no spacing, to learn more. Yeah.
Thank you very much. The City of Pleasanton is partnering with Livermore and Dublin, and they're going to participate in the Tri-Valley Affordable Housing Fair. I wonder if you tell us about this event and how those who are interested might be able to attend.
Yeah, this is affordability is just, a persistent and difficult problem to solve. It takes on so many facets. Housing is obviously the principal one when we think about, but water, sewer costs, your kids' tuitions, all of it. It's just ever there, ever present. And so managing affordability is something I think a lot of our councils in the Tri-Valley are always trying to keep an eye on. And I know I do as well as a personal priority. But it is great to see Dublin, Pleasanton, and Livermore joining forces to try to have the first ever Tri-Valley Affordable Housing Fair. So it's a free event, regional, designed to basically connect residents with housing resources, support services, and kind of pool our knowledge, because we do work together. For example, Pleasanton provides funding for Vineyard 2.0 in Livermore and for Goodness Village in Livermore. But it's a regional resource, and I appreciate Livermore for basically being the lead horse on that. But this event, the Tri-Valley Affordable Housing Fair, will take place on May 7th, the Wave Community Room in Dublin, from 2 to 7 p.m. It might be right around the time this taping airs, but it is something we're trying to take on. So it's open to residents from Dublin, Pleasanton, and Livermore. Great opportunity to meet with community partners who provide those resources, affordable housing rental options, first-time home buyer options, below-market housing application and opportunities, home repair assistance will be there, and tenant protections and support services will be there. And then there's going to be also another facet related to senior and veteran housing, a very unique challenge that's a little different than others, but also accessibility needs and things like that. So we encourage everyone to attend who's interested. If you miss it, simply reach out to your cities, any one of them, because we do have in Pleasanton a gentleman currently as the department head for housing, right, or the head of it, and his name's Steve Hernandez. And so, there are resources even if you miss that, and if there will always be another one. So this is our first ever. We're kicking it off, and hope you can go. Again, it's free. No need to register. Just show up. May 7th, 2 p.m. at the Wave in Dublin.
I was speaking recently with some of the organizers, and boy, I think this is something you should not miss.
Yeah, I agree. It will be super nice.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayor's Report in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. We are here talking with Mayor Jack Balch from the city of Pleasanton, coincidentally.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
I wondered if you mind addressing a ceremony for the fire department. You recently attended the LPFD, the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department Recognition and Promotion Ceremony. Could you tell us about what people are calling it a very inspiring ceremony?
Yeah, Definitely. And so our residents and viewers probably know we share a fire department with Livermore and appreciate their partnership in that. So the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department has been hiring. We, as Pleasanton, we went through the budget conversation. We talked about budget overtime. So that's kind of the formalities of it. But hiring new firefighters, it is an impressive sight to be able to watch, right? My wife says you bring out a flag and a ceremony and I'll start to tear up, but it's true because the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department has such a wonderful tradition of when a new recruit graduates from the fire academy or promotions occur. And so the 2026 academy graduation, badge pinning, we're getting our new firefighter paramedics, and then the service awards for outstanding service to our community, and was just recently held at the Roberts Livermore Community Center. I've attended a few of them in my time now. It's very similar that they always have young kids running around the room, and you can't really control them from crying or making noise. And it's perfect because it's exactly what about invoking into this new family and what it means to support each other. And the firefighting crew has that tradition, and it just comes through. It just fills the room, and it just feels alive, right? And so we had several important milestones I want to just mention, and maybe I'll start with the top. Maybe I should have started with the bottom, but Fire Chief Lacey got promoted to our new fire chief, and he's a longtime Pleasanton resident, and his appointment reflects, a hire within that grew up in the fire department service, and so it's a real strong connection to our community that I think he's going to do outstanding work and want to make sure I support him in that. And then we had several important milestones that were done. Multiple personnel within the department were recognized: Firefighter of the Year, Service Awards of the Year, honoring commitment and excellence. And then we highlighted 7 recruits coming in. Those are 6 paramedics and 1 emergency medical technician. And maybe I'll just highlight again, we've got young individuals starting their career in such a ceremonial way, because the relations you create when you're fighting a fire, you can tell the reliance you need on your crew and your fellow firefighter for such a difficult thing to do as a career. And so it's just, as I said, tradition. I'm going to mention it had about 300 people, and it just reminds you of their professionalism. And speaking about their professionalism, I want to highlight that also called out in the State of the City, the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department just received ISO Class 2 rating. Only about 5% of the fire departments in the nation achieve such a high service level for their communities. It's really a prestigious honor. And it may help control our costs related to fire risk on individual residents and businesses' insurance. And so, when we talk about real results and real dedication and what it means, it's nice to see that our fire department is one of those 5% in the nation. So truly, I don't know if I shed a tear, but tradition matters, and it's kind of nice to be allowed to watch. Yeah.
It's beyond words for me. The Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department was in its very formation process is where I got involved in politics. And I must say, where did we in Livermore choose to have the centuries-old light bulbs been going on continuously anywhere but the fire department?
Right.
Now, that used to be called Station Number 1, but after we consolidated, it's now Station Number 9, but it's still going.
And if anyone would like to talk about that light bulb, Mayor Marchand of Livermore has a wealth of knowledge related to it. I do jest with him a little bit about, the power's got to go off. I mean, PG&E is not terribly reliable in Pleasanton, I presume, but it's still been burning. We'll go with that.
He was there to supervise the manufacture of that bulb.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe so. Or the installation for sure. I don't know. But it was it's an awesome story. And it's great that it's at our mutual fire department. I'm going to take a little bit of credit for Pleasanton as well. How about that?
Indeed you should.
Okay.
The next topic is volunteering. Now, I came across the city's volunteer page. What a great resource for students and anyone who has some time on their hands and wants to connect with others or give back. Can you tell us about this page and some of the opportunities?
Yeah, maybe as you can see dripping and oozing through the entire video we're doing today or taping, but volunteerism in Pleasanton is, I think, growing. I think it's outstanding. Even we see the number of applicants for our committees and commissions increasing tremendously. And the spirit of volunteerism, I think, has been a long American tradition, but I think that we are seeing it reborn and kind of how critical it is to get involved in your community so that your community reflects your values. And I say that with a royal our values because we want it to reflect us and we want it to reflect the best of us. So Pleasanton has implemented this volunteering page. We're trying to make it a clearinghouse of a lot of opportunities. So it's a work in progress, but it offers a wide range of volunteer opportunities with trusted partners for teens through adults to give back in our community. Volunteers may help many city departments and help enhance programs and services across the community. And they gave me a list, and I want to make sure I highlight them all. Opportunities include library services, public safety, community events, civic engagement. And we need the help, right? We need the help because we only have about 400 employees in Pleasanton, 460 in the city, and a lot of those are police, fire, and other services, right? And so then when you think of library and rec and administration or public works, there's not a ton left. So library opportunities, I liked these, book shelving and summer reading programs, literacy tutoring and therapy dog programs.
Therapy dog program.
Yeah, if you ever want to fill the cup of warmth in your heart, go to the therapy dog reading at the library where kids read to the dogs. It is definitely some of the best of us. And then volunteers who bring books directly to schools to support early reading, as well as we've got our new library bookmobile. I teased that it's a little smaller than the bookmobile when I was a kid. And then for the public safety opportunities, we've highlighted you and I before here, but policing and police explorer programs are in full force. We've just had a Learn About Your Police Department program. We've got the CERT program that we do. Lots of opportunities that will not only enhance your volunteerism, but also your ability to help your neighbor if you're CERT learning and we do face a disaster, God forbid. And then for the community event programming opportunities, Hometown Holidays needs a lot of help. That is principally volunteer run, in fact, with only minor assistance from the city, just with our parade management tools and some kind of city guidance. But that is volunteer run. And last year, 2025's, I thought was just
incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Great word for it. And so they're starting again. I don't know. You know, those people that have Christmas lights up all year round, it's about time to dust them off. We're already in spring, get ready. And then there's a lot of other city events we do throughout the year. We've got Memorial Day coming up now, and 4th of July, the America's 250th. We're looking at how to really leverage our downtown and our Lions Wayside Park, and so that committee is starting up afresh.
Remember, we have a parade?
I don't know if we're going to have a parade because we still will have the fair going on. So we try to be careful. You know, a lot of residents ask, maybe I should just clarify this. They would like to do a lot more with our downtown during 4th of July. But we do realize that a lot of residents do travel around that time. So our population, we think, actually declines. We actually see a little dip in business in our downtown. But if you think about it, you've got the fair in full swing.
What else could you ask for?
Yeah, and so that's why we do our summer concert series, and we try to stage that out. And then lastly, I'll just mention civic opportunities to get involved. I'm doing committee and commission interviews actually later today, but there are committee and commission opportunities all the time. We open it up twice a year, spring and fall. We're in the spring recruiting process now, and it's just an amazing way to get involved and really make sure our most local form of government reflects who we are as a community. So I encourage people to attend, to get involved, and make Pleasanton the city you would like. And I think through that service is exactly how we achieved the second highest quality of life in the nation, right after our partners and neighbors San Ramon, and the cleanest city in California. Just great stuff.
Is that incredible?
Yeah, and it takes an army, and it's not the city alone. It's the people.
But you were a commissioner of some sort with regard to bicycles at one time, recreation.
Yeah, so watch what you start with, right? So about 17 years ago, I was a park and rec commissioner. I did that for about 6 years, and then I was a planning commissioner, and I did that for about 5 years before I was elected to the city council. So be careful what you start, right?
Absolutely. But Pleasanton has so many outdoor activities and miles of bike trails, and the city partners with other organizations to offer free workshops. And I wonder if you could tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is super fun. I'm kind of staying in the theme of volunteerism, but Bike East Bay is our partner. And usually in spring each year, we start talking about Bike to Wherever Day, and that will be on May 14th. We usually set up around the BART station and at some of our local schools, but we have so many opportunities for residents to bike and to recreate and transport. We have the Iron Horse Trail as well as all the Arroyo trails around. And the City Council recently just prioritized looking at the north side of the Arroyo Mocho Trail and opening that and how we get that going. But we're actually partnering with Bike East Bay to have several workshops this year, which is kind of a new opportunity. So there'll be a family cycling workshop on April 25th. There'll be an urban cycling 101 day 2 on May 2nd. And then, like I said, a bike-friendly driving course will be offered on May 9th. Not like I said Bike to Wherever Day, which will be on May 14th. So a couple of things all in May for our biking. Just on that, what I was mentioning about Bike to Wherever Day, it will be at the Dublin Pleasanton BART station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And they'll offer goodie bags, refreshments, t-shirts, things like that. And then all of those workshops I mentioned are free. So maybe I repeat them because I kind of got it out of order. But Family Cycling Workshop, April 25th. Urban Cycling 101, which is a 2-day program, but day 2 will be on May 2nd. And then a bike-friendly driving course for your, you've seen it set up. So at May 9th, all at the Civic Center Library.
Have the electric bikes been receiving more activity, more?
Yeah, and great question. The electric bikes are, they're all like this major category, but the real, I think, bugaboo are these electric motorcycles, right?
Oh, yes.
Where they're not pedal assisted. So maybe I'll just bifurcate it out. The electric e-bikes that are pedal assisted, I don't think many of our residents have a lot of concerns about them, maybe along the trails, and East Bay Regional Parks deals with that probably a bit more than us. But the electric motorcycles, there's quite a lot of bills at the state level to try to regulate these motorcycles. I just want to encourage parents to really know what you're giving your child. Some of these can go up to 45 miles per hour, and for a 12 or 13-year-old, they're not legal at that age. You have to have a driver's license. And so we have actually, I mentioned it before, we've partnered with Danville, San Ramon, Dublin, Pleasanton, and Livermore, have partnered together as a 5-city coalition to try to see how we can reduce risks in this area of these motorcycles, e-motorcycles. But the state is working forward on legislation. And maybe many of our viewers know there's a lot of news about injuries and liability from these bikes where suits and some other things have really occurred. So, yeah, I encourage awareness. Make sure you understand and the laws around it. And if you have questions, our city police department has actually got an outreach campaign for the e-motorcycles right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, we've visited schools and we're working with the school district on that.
Time goes by so fast when you're here. Thank you for being here today and updating us. And I have to say this. I'm Marshall Kamena. Please join us next time for the Mayor's Report Pleasanton, right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.